Vish Dale, how are Diggle and Felicity getting paid now that Oliver's nearly bankrupt? They're doing it for the love of Team Arrow. Let's just skip past the fact that I'm broke. Okay, it hurts me personally, so I'm going to skip questions with respect to that. This is a good question. Caroline Katerina, this is possibly the second question that I've answered of yours. I've noticed this thing that you do on your left handle in a lot of scenes on Arrow, like tapping, rubbing your fingers together. Is that a subconscious Stephen Amell habit? No. Or did you purposely give Oliver Queen that nervous habit? This is a serious question, by the way. It's something I've been noticing and wondering for a while. I do it a lot with both hands. It's not just, it's sort of like this movement right here. And to me, in my mind, I actually don't know if I want to give this away because I don't want it to totally influence the way, whatever. It's me sort of pretending that I have a quiver or an arrow in my hand, as imagining that archery and the process of doing archery is this calming thing for Oliver. Not for me. I don't do it. So if you notice that, you'll probably notice that it's in a scene where I'm trying to conceal being agitated. Anthony Bell, what brought the role of Oliver Queen to your attention? You know how Oliver Queen is broke now? Stephen Amell was kind of broke too. And well, not actually, but I was an actor without a job that went for a long period of time. So there was very real prospect of being broke. Euphic Caesar Cadillo, why do you never eat in an episode of Arrow? Are you on a diet? Well, yeah, I am. They always had me eating in the first season. It would always be like Oliver is devouring a big plate of macaroni and cheese, and you have to do like 11 takes. And I will never forget shooting a Lifetime movie called Justice for Natalie Holloway, where I was supposed to randomly eat a Snickers bar, like half of a Snickers bar. And I must have, in total, because it was at the beginning of the scene and the scene kept going, so I couldn't chew it and spit it out, I must have consumed like 24 Snickers bars by the end of it. And I was in a horrible, I was almost going in like diabetic shock, it felt like. So I try to avoid eating whenever possible. And also, I'm very cognizant of the fact that every once in a while they'll have Oliver drinking. And I always remember that scene in The Dark Knight where Christian Bale is holding up a glass of champagne, and then the second that he gets out of people's sights, he throws it away. I never want to be drinking and have people think that, you know, I go out and fight crime in Starling City with a buzz. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see what we're doing with time here. Oh, just motoring right along. Danny Figueroa. I'm so sorry about the pronunciation of your name. Was there any scene this season that was especially difficult to shoot, physically or emotionally? Also, it's her birthday today, probably yesterday. Is there any chance I could get a happy birthday? Well, happy birthday, Danny. I hope it's a wonderful one. We'll talk about the scene that was very difficult to shoot at the end of this Q&A. And I'm going to go rapid fire right now. Miriam Weiss, spoiler alert in this question. If you haven't seen past episode 20, you're going to want to get out of here for sure. I was really moved by the scene in 220 where Oliver reacts to being told that the girl he got pregnant lost the baby. She thinks that I did very well, etc., etc. I was wondering whether having a child now affected the way that you played that scene. And if that's too personal, then more generally, how much do you draw from real-life experience when playing the role of Oliver? Lots of love from Israel. It's a very thoughtful question. I don't draw from real-life experiences. That's not my method or my process. That being said, I'd be lying if I said that having a daughter right now didn't affect the way that I played that scene. Um, that scene turned out very differently than I think the writers and the producers of the show had maybe originally intended. But those happy accidents happen all the time. Um, I wanted people to see uh, a little tiny glimpse of the person that Oliver was eventually going to become, which still isn't the best person, but he's trying. And it was important to see just a smidgen of that shine through. Spirited Mustang, what goes through your mind when you watch an episode after you're done filming? I literally sit at the computer like this because I'm usually watching a earlier cut of the show. It's actually very rare that I watch the finished copy because by the time it gets to the finished copy, I've seen the episode so many times. So I don't know what goes through my mind. I'm just watching, listening, learning, trying to create a mental catalog of choices that I've made so that going forward I don't develop a pattern as an actor. Lots of things. My mind is just going 1,000 miles a minute. I need to watch it like 3 times to even get in there, so to speak. Michael Zimmerman wants to know, what has been your favorite location in real life out of the many where the show was filmed and the scenes you acted in? Well, let's go with the location for a second. Tell you what, it's not the sewage treatment plant. We've been there twice. Don't like those days at all. Probably Widgeon Park, just for the sheer... It's a location in Vancouver, obviously. Just for the sheer beauty of it. And when we went to Victoria during the pilot, in the Royal Roads College, which has also been the X-Men house and the Luther Mansion, and etc., and now the Queen Mansion, that was a beautiful location, and Victoria was gorgeous. Brandon Stanfill, if the show goes long enough, fingers crossed, that you use up all 5 years on the island, what other kinds of flashbacks would you want to see? Wouldn't you like to know, Brandon? Karen Bristol, will we ever see Oliver smile again? God, I hope so. This has not been the most pleasant sequence of episodes. It's been amazing to film, but it's been heavy. And I think back to our second episode, our third episode this year, where there was more of a lightness to Oliver. That's just sort of the trajectory of the season. You start happy and then things get more and more tense. Yassine Martin wants to know, where the hell is the Flash? Patience. James Adventure, have lessons, trials, and adventures of Oliver Queen influenced you as a person today? Do you take something away from every story you are a part of? Well, just working. Getting gray hair, which is exciting. And I don't know, I've worked more in the past 2 years 10 times more than I had in my entire life before this. So my work ethic and my appreciation for time off has certainly changed. Last question. James Doherty wants to know, if you had your own secret lair or man cave, same thing. What all would you put in it? TVs, like 9 televisions. I have a soft spot for televisions. For some people it's cars, for some people it's clothes, for some people whatever. For me it's TVs and Apple TVs. When Apple comes out with a new Apple TV, in order to get all of my areas up to date, and I have a feng shui issue, so I'll need to do that, I will need to buy 9 Apple TVs. And that's so shameful. But they're so cheap on Amazon.com. Anyway, before we finish out, and these were great questions, and I'm sorry that I can't get to more. I'm still waiting for a mechanism where the good questions bubble to the surface, although these were excellent. If you haven't seen past episode 20, you're going to want to cut this off. It has been such a pleasure, and it was, working with Susanna Thompson. And I haven't really talked a lot about the episode since it was on the air. I've read some stuff about it and seen a couple of interviews that she's done. But don't let the Moira character fool you. And don't let some of her darker moments fool you. Susanna Thompson is one of the brightest and most beautiful people that I have ever had the pleasure to work with in my entire life. And it it was very, very difficult to lose her from the show. I hope that we can see Moira in flashbacks. And kudos to her for a wonderful professional example that she set for me that I will carry with me for the rest of my career. Talk about her like she's actually dead. I'm going to probably see Susanna in like a week. But the Moira character for me will be missed. Thank you, Facebook. Brand new Arrow tonight. Not the season finale. Penultimate episode. It's awesome. Sort of like the second part of a 3-part finale. And with all honesty, the season finale, I think, is the best episode of television in 2014. Unbelievable. Talk to everybody soon.